up, guys?
Hey.
This is TOMCAM TV.
Welcome.
And today we're talking about why we fucking love Elden Ring.
One of my favorite subjects, actually.
Well, then tell us why it's one of your favorite subjects. Why do you love Elden Ring? Why do you love Elden Ring? Tell us in the comments below.
Elden Ring, to me, is probably one of the most insane games ever created. I can't believe it exists. I can't even put it into words because it breaks my fucking brain. It's insane.
Yeah.
The diversity of what you can do, the combat, the level structure, it's so expansive. It's ever changing. I thought the game was ending almost 3 or 4 times before I was at the actual end game. And even then they released a DLC which did somewhat the same thing to me.
Yeah, I remember thinking, what are they going to do with the DLC? Like, what is the DLC even going to be? Because how do you add on to this? Like, I agree. It's just a mind-blowing experience all around. Aside from, the gameplay, I get how complicated and difficult it may be, and how frustrating it is for, especially new players to that kind of gameplay. But like the world the world building that it has, and like just the environment that it is, and the art direction, and just every aspect of the game really is just top notch.
I'd say Elden Ring is like the most accessible FromSoft game in my opinion, because it is open world and you can just choose to divert and go your own path. Absolutely. And grind and level up before you feel ready to take on those big beasts like the Gold Knight that you see.
That tree sentinel, dude. That
tree sentinel.
That motherfucker, man. The feeling you get when you take that thing down, finally, after it like intimidating you from when you first opened those doors. Oh man, it's such a nice feeling. Yeah. Oh, it's such a nice really feeling.
Cool. I just really love Elden Ring. I want to kind of dig into the nitty gritty of both of our loves for this game and what we took away from our time in it, because we played a lot together, and our time in the Lands Between meant a lot to me.
Me too.
Personally.
Yeah, sure. Me too. Most of my time, actually, I'll say this. Most of my time in the Lands Between was spent with somebody else. Out of, the 100-hour plus that I have in this game, I would say that the majority of the time, and I'm not exaggerating, the vast majority of the time was spent with other players. Honestly, I was a little frightened when I was by myself playing that game. It was just being alone in that experience, and everything out there is trying to kill you, and everything is hard. Everything has a pattern.
You played Bloodborne.
I did. Bloodborne was such a different experience. Bloodborne, you weren't relying on that companionship with somebody else. You could summon it, but you had to jump through hoops to do it, and that wasn't part of the game experience. Most, if not, I would say 90% at least of Bloodborne you're doing by yourself. Mm. And, it's only bosses that you were really summoning other people for. So, when it comes to Elden Ring's co-op versus Bloodborne's, it's just a different experience. Completely different worlds, it's the same kind of, like, Souls game kind of gameplay, but two completely different experiences. I could understand why somebody would like Elden Ring and not like Bloodborne, and vice versa.
The frontier scared you.
The frontier scared me. Exactly. Yeah, the fear of the unknown. Really, like with Bloodborne, and Bloodborne. It's like like a Resident Evil type of game. It's a very linear thing. You have to do one thing to go to the other, to go to the other, to go to the other.
You're like that.
I'm used to that kind of shit. So with Bloodborne, I was not as scared as I was with Elden Ring. With Elden Ring, I was like, I don't know where to fucking go.
That's so funny, man.
I don't know where to go. I need a buddy. I need my buddy. I don't know. I don't want to go by myself. Like, I'm so used to going by myself. I don't want to go alone. You know, that's how I felt. You know, that's what Elden Ring did to me. That's why I love Elden Ring so much. What kind of game makes you think like that?
That's so funny to me because the frontier is the, like, first reason that I love Elden Ring.
Exactly.
I'll just dive right in.
Yeah.
Like, I love all the diverse and interesting frontiers that we get to explore. All the different biomes. Mm-hmm. You have Caelid, covered in scarlet rot. Limgrave, where you start, the typical plains area. Then you go to the Volcano Manor. You have the Altus Plateau, the mountaintop of the giants. You have... What was
the swamp area? What was the swamp area?
I was thinking of Farum Azul. I really liked whenever you were transported to Farum Azul. I was just mind fucking blown that dragons were just flying around me in a tornado-like formation.
When we first went there, I was like, where the fuck are we? Opening up the map, dude.
Down and just having to defeat these really hard... It was really, really something to experience for the first time. I loved exploring the frontier. That was one of my favorite parts of it. And the way they interconnected these frontier level designs. Like, the way they had you going into a castle, for instance, and ascending all this way, and then you drop down into a hole back into the ruin where you once started. It's just... It's insane the way FromSoft designs these levels already in their previous games. You give them an open world to play with, and they crank it up to max fucking head trippiness. Like,
yeah,
I can't fathom the level designers and how they designed some of these things in Elden Ring the way they did. The first time I took the elevator down, you know what I'm talking about. When I went down the elevator to Schiffer River, I was told that it's an Irish word.
Oh, look at the Irish.
I was just blown away because it just kept going. And eventually it opened up and revealed itself, and the depth of how far you could go into it was just...
I mean, that's how I felt with a lot of things in this game, is that, you know, we were just wandering around, you know, just walking around, and then there's a little cave right off there on the little side of, you know, whatever we're doing, and then that cave leads to an hour-and-a-half experience because it just keeps fucking going. You know, it just goes on, and there's multiple of those.
There's nothing like it. There's
no other game like that.
The sense of discovery you get from this game's level design is just unparalleled, in my opinion. I love it. I think it's one of the big top reasons that I love this game, man.
And I think that's why it sticks with people so much. I think that's why it's become such a huge hit, is because no matter how difficult the gameplay might be, the level of exploration is there. You know, that level of curiosity is there. And there's so much to explore. And it's so big and so vast, and there's so much to do in those, you know, those little tiny caves, those little dungeons, those little side quests, those little things that aren't a part of what you should be doing. You know, it's just so time consuming. It's just it's just like
said time consuming.
It just takes literally. It just consumes time, dude. You don't realize how long you're in there, dude.
I just had so much fun.
That's what I mean. It's time consuming, dude. You don't realize how long you're playing, how long you're doing this stuff until you're like, oh my god, it's 1 a.m. I need to go to bed. Holy shit.
You're right, bro. I have 600 hours.
It's 600 hours, over 600 hours of gameplay. Dude, yeah, it's time consuming. I like consuming my time with Elden
so
Ring.
intricate, and you just dive so deep, and you get so lost,
Yeah.
and somehow you find your way out at some point, if you're lucky,
If you're lucky.
or if you persevere. And while you're exploring it, it's not only vast, it's beautiful.
It is.
It's beautiful. Even though most of the lands between is somewhere between life and death itself, essentially rotting, it is really pretty to look at. The art direction of the environments, the characters, the armor, the enemies.
You know those times when you die and you like that thought where you go up to, when you die and they're like, I want to see how long I spent doing this or whatever. I want to know how long I spent waiting for you to figure out what costume you wanted to wear or what like outfit you wanted to wear because of like how cool it looked. We'd sit there and like examine our costumes and examine the environment. Like, look at this fucking dude. Look at that in the background with my fucking with this armor, bro. Like, check that out. I like
Shit's gonna look dope.
it does look dope. It does look dope, and that's why we sit there and do that.
There's no open world game like this.
No.
Point me to one.
You got Souls-like games, like Jedi, the Respawn Jedi series games.
Yeah, I enjoyed the first one.
I also enjoyed the first one. Games like that are Soulsborne-like.
Right, but right now I'm talking
Elden
purely
Ring.
art direction.
Mm.
Point me to a game that has the art direction that is parallel to Elden Ring, and I can't tell you one.
I can't. I can't.
I'm telling you. Another thing I really like about the game is the combat. The versatility in the combat.
Yeah.
It encourages so many different types of gameplay.
Yeah.
I love all the different classes. I did one gameplay, gameplay through, I guess I should say, as a wizard. And then I went to like straight combat. I did a samurai for a little while. I really liked the samurai.
Yeah. And then you can respec throughout too. So there's different times that you can respec, and you can choose different ways of doing it on your same game or in your same playthrough, so you don't have to play multiple playthroughs.
One of the things in the environments that I really dig is the drip-fed storytelling. Because there will be characters you find in the most random of places sometimes. And it's impossible to know what you're to do in order to make those quests happen.
Yeah.
I'd be lying if I said I knew how people know that.
Right.
I don't understand it.
Yeah, I don't get it. Yeah.
Maybe our guest can shed some light on that later. I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm really excited to talk to him. But the drip-fed storytelling in that environmental way is a lot different than most games. They don't hold your hand. They make you connect the dots through item descriptions, obviously. They're famously known for that across their games.
Yeah.
And that type of thing just suits the open world, trying to connect the tissue of it all.
Yeah.
It just suits it so well. So much more so than a linear game, I'd say, because there's things you could miss in a linear game. And I'd say it's harder for people to go back in something like that as opposed to an open world.
Right.
So I think it suits itself more so in this type of game environment, in my opinion. So
Yeah.
I think that's why Elden Ring has struck such a chord with me in the way that it has told its story. I don't know if that's crazy talk or if
No,
anybody
I
else
agree.
feels
No,
that way, so.
I agree. I mean, it's like a mystery. I mean, you're thrust upon a land that you really have no idea what's going on. You have no idea who you are. You have no idea what's going on, what's happening in this world or anything. And little by little, by, what some random dude. And, it's kind of Shakespearean in a way with how people talk to you, and like.
It is.
And the information you get, the things you read and stuff, it's like a riddle. It's like a poem. You're just like kind of deciphering a riddle every single fucking corner. I mean, it really keeps you on your toes. I mean, it's a lot of fucking fighting, and it's a lot of dying, and it's a lot of fucking cussing, and it's a lot of yelling and shit. But it's also a lot of discovery. It's a lot of like mystery. It's a lot of investigating. So I think that's why it's struck such a chord with so many people.
Yeah.
Is because everybody likes a good mystery. Everybody likes a good theory. Everybody likes a good curiosity. And that's exactly what Elden Ring provides.
You're so right.
It provides a beautiful world, a beautiful landscape, a crazy amount of fucking ugly fucking creatures that you're supposed to kill. And then it gives you breadcrumbs on this story. It gives you breadcrumbs on the overall arcing aspect of what exactly is happening in this game. By the time you get to the end of the game, you have no idea what the fuck you just ingested. You need a New Game Plus or even a New Game Plus Plus to figure the fuck out.
New Game Plus 7, plus 9, plus 20. That's a great thing you said, because I think keeping people on their toes, mysteries, breadcrumbs is a perfect segue into our next segment with the guest we've been teasing. Introducing our next 3-lettered friend, Kai!
Arise, ye tarnished.
Arise!
We yet live. Hello.
How do you do, sir?
I'm doing good.
Hello.
Right.
We want to know why you love Elden Ring. We know you're a really seasoned player. You've helped us on bosses. Don't fucking cap.
Yeah.
We've given you that controller.
Oh, yeah.
So we'd love to hear what about Elden Ring captures you and your thoughts on all this.
I'll start with kind of a sort of a minor thing, but one thing I really loved about Elden Ring was it had kind of a flavor to it that you don't often see really in video games. Because it is like a Japanese game studio, and they've done like a lot, with like Dark Souls, Bloodborne, they have influences from other like cultures across the world. I really felt like with Elden Ring, they really honed in on like kind of a Celtic, like an analog or like Celtic flavor to it, which I was really appreciative of, because they had things like the Shifra River, spelled like Siofra. And then like Ronnie's voice actor, she's like Welsh and she has a accent, and then Blythe with the double D making the soft DH sound. It was really cool to see that, because I feel like you don't often see that too much. Like maybe a little bit in the other Souls games, but it doesn't feel as front and center as it is in Elden Ring. So that's kind of like a cool flavor that you don't see too much. It feels kind of like Camelot or like pre-Camelot type stuff.
Maybe that's why I have such a kinship with it.
It's because you're Celt.
Because my eyebrows are Welsh eyebrows.
Yeah.
Go up like the devil's horns.
But there's that aspect to it, and so it's a really cool flavor. Like I've always been super into like medieval knights and stuff. Not even necessarily fantasy, although I think Elden Ring does the fantasy really well, because it doesn't feel ridiculous. It feels like realistic. So like you can be a non-magical strength or dex-based character and still feel very powerful. There's a lot of cool stuff you can do. Obviously, the other things are cool too, like the arcane stuff with like the rivers of blood that everyone did. Like the magic systems felt so different, and it was nice. They all use the same like resource, but like you had like the miracles, and I guess the idea behind that is like, you focus on which miracles, which also feels like D&D. You're prepping your spells. You focus on which miracles that you want to use for the next day. And they're based on like, this is the tale of this guy, and he used this spell, and that's why you're using it. You're like recalling back to that incantation. I think that's what they call that, is incantation. Yeah. So it felt really like, you're like engaging in the world. Your character is like
That part.
Diegetically connecting with
exactly.
Engaging in the world. The magic felt like part of the world building itself, and then it made sense
and it was so
through
cool.
the lore and what happened in there. I get what you're saying exactly, I think.
And even in like the different systems, because you had like the holy stuff, you had the intelligent stuff, you had the more primal arcane stuff. You had like the light spells, like the lightning and stuff, and the healing. But then you had, you know, these are also miracles. But you had the weird Crucible Knight stuff where you like whip out your tail or like do like a shoulder spike thing. Those are fun. I forget, were the dragon things, were those incantations as well? At least most of them.
You had to go to the Temple of Dragon Incantation, which was in
like
Caelid,
offer up like
I believe.
hearts and stuff.
Yes, and eat the hearts.
And it's like that was all like under the same kind of subsystem.
Dragon communion. It was communion. It was communion. That's what it was.
That shit was so freaking cool. And then with like the intelligence stuff, which I didn't do until like maybe my third playthrough. That was really cool. Just the sheer diversity of spells, and they all had their own little niche.
You said your third playthrough.
Yeah.
You didn't do until your third playthrough. There's so many things to do in this game that you didn't wait. You waited until your third playthrough to do that. Now, I mean, that's crazy. I mean, what kind of game can you do that in?
I did that in the first playthrough. I mean, all RPGs have that sense, but Elden Ring just makes them, like you said, so different and so flavorful, and they feel so a part of the world that you just want to explore them and see what they have to offer.
Yeah, there's so much
different than what you've experienced in the past.
Because even with base game mechanics, like, you know, one problem with like, you know, we all play Dungeons and Dragons. One problem that people have with like the fighter class is a basic class. There's not too much to it. Like, you can flavor it very well, but the way it is, it just seems very straightforward. And then when you get into later levels, you have people that are like, oh, I'm gonna like summon my god as long as I roll below like a 13 on a percentile dice or something. But like Elden Ring, like, you still feel very powerful and cool. You may not have as diverse a tool set, but like, man, running around feels good, blocking feels good, countering feels good. Like the kick mechanics, the different weapon arts. Weapon arts are such a good freaking thing. And unless you use that FP resource, even if you're not spec'd out to be a mage or whatever, and they start adding like the newer, I guess, later game weapons rather, that have like the anime ass looking moves, or like spinning up in the air and doing shit.
I saved myself from death one time using that exact
jumping out of the way,
jumping back onto a ledge from certain death plummeting.
It was just so satisfying, even if you're doing like a more like basic, straightforward, like you're a physical character, you're just a martial character playstyle. But it can expand into all these things, and you have like the resource collection, like it's kind of finite, like you can reload forever, but like you do have to get the things to like make bombs and knives. But like, hell, dude, I was using freaking knives and kukri and like the bombs and stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
There's the people that troll you that like invade, and they'll run around and they're like naked, and they'll just fucking be dropping bombs or doing things to proc Scarlet Rot.
Very well.
I actually kind of want to turn and go to something that you guys were talking about, the togetherness and like being with the companion going through this thing. So my experience is actually a little different because y'all are PS5 and I'm a PC guy.
Yeah.
So I had a couple friends through like some old games like Mountain Blade that I played with on Elden Ring, but we never like someone would always way out level somebody else. It's like, oh, I'm 35, you're like 56. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So most of the game I actually was doing alone. Sometimes with like the NPC companion summons.
Yeah.
But it felt really cool. One thing, the boss HP scaling felt a lot more reasonable, and it was harder. But like once I got the pattern of it, it didn't seem like as much of a slog. But like, man, like the Radon fight, like,
oh man,
oh yeah,
you can summon like players as well as like the million companions, but you're in this freaking field, and just everything again, the immersion. You just see him fucking away over there. He's like, oh, I'm coming on Leonard the horse.
The first time I went into Radon's fight, I just got fucking rocked by a spear, bro.
He's insane,
I didn't expect that. I was just looking like, what is that out there?
It's great because it's one of those things. Yeah. Well, you guys play Siege, so like there's the aspect of like you don't really see your enemy very long in like those types of games because the action is instant. Like you get shot, you're fucking dead.
Right.
But like Elden Ring, there's a lot of melee stuff. You have to get close even to do range stuff a lot of the time. So like you get to see Radahn charging in from over the hill. This whole thing is already littered with like fucking blood and shit and like spears all rested. So you get to see that guy coming at you. It's like, oh shit, what do I do?
So brutal.
But then like doing it with just like the NPC summons rather than like other players. One, it makes it a little easier as far as health pools go. But like it is so satisfying. You get to see like these other heroes and all these NPCs have their own backstories, which you can engage in or not. Like you don't have to know shit about these guys, but they show up and like having the option to delve into that's really cool. But just like I don't know, I can get like going in all kinds of directions talking about Elden Ring. It's just like
it's easy to.
It is.
There's so much.
There's so much to talk about. I mean,
what you've talked about already has spurred me, and you've made me remember other things that I didn't quite remember. Because, like I said, it's been a while since we played. So
one thing I want to touch on is like some of the story stuff, which I know like you don't even have to know what the fuck is going on.
I love it, dude.
Yeah.
But like I got this cup because it reminded me of Ronnie, because the moon. God bless her and her 4 arms.
We love Ronnie in this house.
And Blythe. He's a G.
Blythe is awesome.
Love Blythe.
Yeah, that was my favorite ending, the Age of the Stars, right?
Yeah. Well, like, and the different endings. I think there's 6 different endings you can get in the base game, which I don't have the DLC, unfortunately. But I'll say the Frenzied Flame ending makes me freaking like cry, like just
The
hearing that
Frenzied
song.
Flame one?
Yeah.
Yeah, whenever he's like, ah.
So there's a little something for everyone, but no, it's fantastic.
Yeah, it
A
is.
very immersive world.
Well, Kai, thanks for sharing your stories, man, and
Thanks
thanks
for
for
having me.
sharing like why you love Elden Ring with us. I love it. I love hearing everybody's takes on it.
Yeah.
It's super interesting.
it's been great.
Shall we rest at a site of grace?
Let's rest.
Let's rest on the side of grace.
I love it.
As we will all do together in Elden Ring Night Rain that comes out at the end of the month.
Hey, cheers! I hope you can
Cheers!
get on a PS4 or 5 with that. Honestly, and play with it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, go to
Smash that.
Instagram. Yeah, smash that.
Smash that bell, smash that like, smash that Instagram.
YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Please check us out, guys. We appreciate you being here with us.
Yes.
And thank you to Kai for sharing your insight
Yes, thank you so
on
much.
It's been a
Elden
pleasure.
Ring. See what I did there?
Praise
A little
the sun.
Bloodborne reference. Praise the sun. Hey! Praise the sun. You'll be able to do so in Elden Ring Night Rain, TOMCAM TV, TOMCAM Kai episode. We're out!